Ink up. Slow down. Write your rhythm with Script and Scribe.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Script and Scribe. I'm Kat and today I want to show you that enjoying fountain pens as a hobby doesn't have to cost a fortune. I've put together a list of affordable pen and ink combinations that are budget friendly but still fun. And before we get into it, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's subscribed and just for the warm welcome in general. Now, for this, I'm using a Hobonichi A5 grid notebook. I prepped the pages for ink samples by stamping a dominant industry log of Atlantis wood stamp. It makes a cute ink bottle outline on the paper, and I used Archival waterproof ink for the stamp outlines so that we won't smear them when we fill them in with fountain pen inks. Okay, so that's the prep. Let's get into the pens and inks. Well, I clearly started overconfident and thought I was recording when I started writing this with the blue Jinhao 82 and this 3 Oysters Cyan blue ink. But I caught it early and here we are. Also, you'll notice this is a Jinhao edition purely because all of the Jinhao pens are so affordable. So we're looking at different models of this pen. If you live somewhere where there are a different brand that is really affordable, just put it in the comments. I'd love to know. So this number 82 or model 82 is a great little writer. It's affordable and punches above its price, offering smooth writing even with an EF nib. Just doing the sample straight out of the cartridge. The pen itself costs around £4 and a full 60ml 3 Oysters Cyan bottle is about £9.50. So together at most you're looking at this combination that we're doing right now being £13.50. I actually have a sample bottle, so that cost me a lot less, but I can't see the samples still available. That's why I'm giving you the price of the 60ml bottle. That said, if £13.50 is still too high for you wanting to try out this combination or this pen, then I would suggest Diamine standard blue inks. They cost as little as £2.85 for a 30ml bottle. But I chose this 3 Oysters Cyan because it has a lovely sheening effect on Tomoe river paper, which is what this Hobonichi uses. And it's a vibrant cyan blue that, as it dries on the paper, develops the red sheen in pooled areas, which is why I've been generous with the sample. We'll check it out when the sheen actually dries or when the writing dries and it sheens. Sticking with the Jinhao 82 model, but going with a cool mint color and with Diamine ink, you can get a total of £6.85 for this combination because you got £2.85 for 30ml and £4 for the pen. Or you could go for the 80ml bottle, which will set you back about £7, and then at most this combination costs you £11. Now, I truly love this combination. The cool mint is lighter than the ink color that I'm choosing, but I like to be able to actually read my inks properly, so I don't like to go too light with the ink colors, and I think tonally they work really well together. You might, however, choose to go for a slightly lighter or more minty ink to be more matchy. But yeah, I think Celadon Cat is a good muted greenish color to go with this pen. It has a decent saturation on the paper, so your writing stays clear, and the pen itself, as you see, with the one above, writes smoothly. And I think the quality control on these little Jinhaos is really good because you'll often see that there's a little bit of blue already in the nib, and that means they're testing these nibs before they go out. And I haven't had a single one that hasn't written straight out the box. If you have, just let us know in the comments if you've had a problem with quality control. At around £4 for a pen, I just think that these 82s are such a good pen to really start with. And also, I know that people sometimes say, oh, go for the actual one that it's being a dupe of, which is the Pro Gear Slim. Well, I got a Pro Gear Slim. I absolutely love it. It's a Sailor in dusk, and I still go back to the 82s as well. But the price point is very different because Pro Gear Slim retails for about $153. I paid about $100 for mine, and that's a huge price point difference. That said, the Pro Gear Slim is not hyped. It is definitely a brilliant performer and outperforms us at least 10 times with its 14 karat gold nib, but this is 38 times cheaper. Next up is this pen with absolute flair. It is the Jinhao Dragon Spirit fountain pen with fine nib. I'm going to pair it with Vinter Ink's Mother of Pearl Nacre, which is a shimmering dark grey black ink, and I think that goes well with the cap, which has this sort of antique silver look to it. And you can see the dragon on there. I think it's really done well. It's got such a lovely feel to it as well. If you put your hand over and you can feel the indentations, and it's just great if you are into that tactile, feel to things. Also, you can unscrew the cap one-handed, as you can see. So we're going to try and focus in so that you can see the quality of the nib as well. It's a really good, fine one, and it allows a lot of ink to come through. Not overly wet, but this is why I picked this particular pen, because it can handle shimmer despite being fine rather than being broad. And it has a cool heartbeat design. So aside from the cool dragon motif wrapped around the cap and the pen nib having a heartbeat, the pen itself is solid. It has a nice weight to it, making it feel more expensive than its £18 price tag. And the Vinter Nacre, a Philippine-made ink, has this deep charcoal base with silver shimmer particles in it, and the Mother of Pearl in the name gives you an idea of how it sheens. The combination, I think, is stunning. The pen's dragon theme, the sparkle in the ink, they complement each other and give this a really luxury look for a budget. Now, the costs here can vary. A full 30ml of Vinter Nacre is about £16, so with an £18 pen, that makes it a total of £34. Still not bad considering the fancy characteristics of both pen and ink, but in my case I only have this 15ml sample, which came as part of a set, and that set cost me £22, which means instead of £34, my combination costs £21.60. Either way, as I say, I think even £34 is a really good price for this as a combination, a shimmering, elegant writing experience without breaking the bank. I also find that shimmer inks like this perform really well with the Jinhao 1919 model. Whichever pen you decide to go for, just remember to give your ink cartridge a little shake before use, just to make sure that it all mixes up properly, because it can become separated within the ink cartridge. So if you want that shimmer to be showing in the lettering, just remember to do that. Oh no, am I seriously going for a Jinhao 82 again? Yes, I am. And that's because they've got a range of colors and, £4 per pen. So how could I resist? This is a Jinhao 82 filled with the Robert Oster avocado to match the avocado green of this pen. So the interesting thing is that the sample doesn't look matchy-matchy with the pen, but when I write with it, it does actually look more tonally like a match. We'll get into that when we actually, finish off the sample. But price-wise, we're looking at a total of £19 for this combination. As I said, £15 for the ink and then £4 for the pen. Initially, when I was swatching this, I thought that the ink looks a little bit more cool than the body of the pen, which has a more yellow undertone to it. But when you write with it, it actually works. The difference virtually disappeared. On the page, the ink matches the pen's vibe incredibly well. The writing is nicely saturated and easy to read. I wouldn't go any lighter than this because I do like to see my writing clearly, and I have to say that my eyesight isn't great with pale ink colors. Now, the Jinhao 82 EF lays down a fine line, as you can see, with all of the samples, and this Robert Oster ink has a good flow in it, so it doesn't feel too dry at all. In terms of the cost, again, I think that this is a very successful, affordable combination at between £9.40 and £22, depending on which size ink bottle you get, and shows that you can color coordinate and enjoy a premium experience without a premium price. I was really pleasantly surprised by how well this worked and how much I like this pairing. Next on the list, we go back to the dragon with the Jinhao Dragon and Cloud Totem pen paired with Diamine Red Dragon ink. The pen is gorgeous and hefty, a real showpiece. As you can see, it's got the dragon on the top, the clouds on the lower section, and it has a large metal clip and intricate three-dimensional dragon design all over, swirling cloud patterns sculpted all around the barrel. But you can actually post securely because it screws onto the top, so it won't go anywhere. But having said that, I don't actually like to keep it posted. I mean, look, it looks great, but it is heavy with that on. So I'll write with it first, but then I am going to take the cap off just because I do find it quite, less comfortable, less balanced to write this way. Jinhao 82 weighs about 19 grams, and the other dragon pen that I tried out, the Dragon Spirit, is about 66.8 grams, and this one weighs 145 grams. So you might have guessed that my ink combination with this, with the diamine red dragon, is actually about theme and not about matching the barrel or the trim as I did with the Dragon Spirit pen, and there is no shimmer, so this is a standard ink. The diamine red dragon is a deep rich red with a bit of a blood red undertone. I have the huge 80ml bottle, and cost-wise that was really affordable, £7.50, but you can go with a 30ml plastic bottle for £2.85. This pen is the most expensive of all the pens that we're trying out, and it's £27. So if you went with the smaller bottle of ink, you'd be looking at £29.85 for your budget. Time to swatch the ink, and you'll see that yes, the writing with Red Dragon on Hobonichi was a pleasure, but we don't really see the shading, so the sample should show some darker and lighter red variations when it dries. I think this is a fantastic bargain for a pen and ink set that feels so special. If you want something dramatic and stands out, this is the one to go for if you're budget conscious but want that little wow factor. Like I say, you can write with it unposted, but if you like that weightiness, then it posts really well. I do find it a struggle to write with it posted the whole time, because 145 grams is definitely my limit for the weight of a pen. A 30ml bottle costs £2.85 and an 80ml bottle costs £7, so this will set you back either £29.85 or £34. Onto a Jinhao pen model that doesn't seem to need an introduction. It is the Jinhao 10, which is so popular for being a dupe of the Pilot Vanishing Point, and this colorway is the orange caramel, or some people call it coffee, and it's been flying off the shelves because people love the coffee themed color and also because of the performance. So this really performs much better than the £12 that I paid for it, and I love the EF nib. It feels truly EF. And by being a good EF, it does actually make the F nib above look like a medium nib now, doesn't it? In reality, Red Dragon is a much deeper red than it's looking on screen, but now it's looking almost like what I'm using here, which is Colorverse Ginkgo Tree. The pen retails for about £12 or £13, and the ink retails at £10 for 3 of these small bottles. So at most this costs £23, but if I said that, one bottle cost me £3.33, this is £16.33. And I very nearly forgot to swatch the actual ink, so this is going to show how close the ink color and the gradient within, or the shading within the ink, is to the gradient on the pen barrel. Before we go on to our next 6 pairings, let's have a look at the way the inks here have dried. You can see a little bit of shimmer on the Tomoe River paper for the 3 Oysters Cyan ink. Diamine Celadon Cat does not sheen, but it does shade, and I think it looks really tonally good, matched with the pen. And the shimmer from Vinta Nakar looks really good with this pen. I think you can see the little sparkles there. If I have the camera at an angle to the writing, you can also see the shimmer in the writing. There's some beautiful shading in the Robert Oster sample, but the tone doesn't look right, does it? And yet, look at the writing. It does. It looks tonally okay for the pen. In the Diamine Red Dragon, which is a sort of muddy red, you can see a real contrast between the lighter and the darker shading. The orange-brown gradient and shading in this Ginkgo Tree from Colorverse just matches so well with the Jinhao orange caramel pen. I was just so eager to do this pairing of the pen and ink, and I'm busy dripping the ink everywhere. But anyway, this Jinhao 100 Century Green Marble pen, which has such a classic vibe to it and is oh so reliable. The pattern on it, marbled green, actually has a sort of malachite leaning for me, and the Esterbrook Evergreen ink on the white paper. On ivory, it looks a bit warmer, but on this white paper, it really pops. And I feel that they match so well. Now, price-wise, we're looking at the pen being £18 and the ink is about £30 for 50 ml. I got a £3.66 sample bottle that you see here. I think this sort of green is a fun color that's also good for serious note taking, and it has a little bit of shading that's visible in the broader strokes as well as in the ink sample. So my pairing was roughly £18 for the pen, £4 for the bottle, and that's £22 in total. But if I were to get a bigger bottle, then of course that's going to be more because the bottle retails for £30 and that makes it 48 in total as a pairing, making it the priciest lineup that I've got for you. But still under £50, which is a lot less than many single mid-range pens cost, or one of the fanciest bottles of ink alone. And you're getting both with this pairing. In use, I feel like this Jinhao 100 and Esterbrook Evergreen are a premium experience. The pen's heft and smooth nib, combined with the rich flow and depth of the high-quality ink, just work so well together. Pairing 8 will bring us back to the Jinhao 10 model, but first let's have a look at this Diamine Matthew ink. If the caramel orange off the ginkgo tree and the Jinhao 10 before were all about a bold color, this pairing is going to be gray gradient and perfect for understated minimalist vibe. The pen we'll come to, but this ink is a dark gray fountain pen ink that matches the pen's aesthetic and has this neither blue or green leaning. It's very neutral and has great shading. It's just pure gray that dries to a nice matte finish. And here's the gray gradient Jinhao 10 fading from a deep charcoal at the top to a silvery gray at the bottom. It looks modern and professional and just really goes well with this Diamine Matthew. A grey pen and grey ink pairing might sound boring to some, but honestly, I just find it elegant. It's a kind of setup you can take to work or to class and just be comfortable with it. Cost-wise, the pen was £13 and Diamine Matthew is very affordable at around £7 for a big 80ml bottle. And of course, I got the sample one, so it was cheaper. It came to around £14.67 in total. But if we buy the big one, then that's £13 and £7 and £20 total for this minimalist setup that's just screaming elegance. And if you're wondering, it's another EF nib. In fact, all of my Jinhao 10s, I went with the EF nib. I know that people have been searching for medium nibs, and I believe they now exist. Originally, it was just EF and F, but I'm fairly sure that if you are into medium nibs, that I've seen someone, doing a review of that. But I won't be going for that because this is my favorite size. Then we have the 1919 Jinhao, a clear demonstrator version, and I paired this with the Diamine's Deadly Nightshade, one of my favorite inks. It is a chameleon ink. It shimmers between purple and green or green and purple. It's got a plum base and then what they call a ghastly green sheen to it. You can't miss the effect of Deadly Nightshade as a sheening ink in an ink sample like the one that I'm doing right now. But it's also got a gorgeous effect in the writing, especially in a nib like this Didao 1919, and also when it's paired up with my TWSBI 1.1 stub. In a stub, it looks spectacular because you get that variation in each and every letter, especially when you're doing caps. It just adds a little something. But if you don't have a stub, this fine nib does the job really well. This is a beautiful pairing. It lays down a generous wet line for a fine nib, so it makes it just stand out. There's no shimmer in Deadly Nightshade, just lots of sheening. And the clear pen lets you admire the ink's color in the converter as well. Cost-wise, this is really straightforward, about £10 for the pen and roughly £12 for a 50ml bottle of the ink. Now, Deadly Nightshade is a special ink from Diamine for cult pens, and the total cost is £22. I mean, how awesome is that? For under £25, you get such visually stunning writing. It's a brilliant writing experience, and it's not going to empty out your wallet. Now for number 10, we're going to go back to another Jinhao to match this lovely Diamine Louise ink, which is a sort of yellow-orange. And I think that the match is going to be perfect. Now, you'll see that there's a lot of shading in this. It looks from the bottle that it's going to be very yellow, but it does have that depth to it and makes it good for note-taking. It's not too bright, it's not too dark, it's really balanced and just has that sort of neutral vibe that I like. So I'm just topping up a little bit more ink because I think I was a bit mean with what I had actually laid down before. But this is the Jinhao 82 in turmeric. And I feel that this goes so well, especially when you're looking at the letters. It looks a little bit darker, the ink, when you're putting it side by side with the pen, but that's because it shows all the various shading. Whereas with the writing, it's a little bit more matched. And again, super affordable combo because it comes to a total of like £11, because you're looking at the pen costing £4 and then a huge 80ml bottle of ink of the Louise costs £7. The cost of my sample bottle is £1.67, so my combo was actually £5.67. So we've had some pretty minimalist pairings before, and this one is the opposite. This is bling. It's the Jinhao 1200 with the gold clip dragon head, and I filled it with Diamine Dragon Blood, which is a shimmer ink, and I have to say, I think maybe medium nib would have been better on this, but I only have the fine nib. I want more shimmer to come out and really be all shining. But this is a fantastic duo and continues on from my dragon theme earlier. I love the Jinhao Dragon pens, and this Diamine Shimmertastic Dragon Blood ink works so well. It's a deep dark red with gold shimmer particles in, and on camera it's leaning towards a little bit more brown than it actually lays down. And my idea of using it in the Jinhao 1200, this particular color, because there's also a silver one, in this golden dragon pen, it feels like there's this dragon breathing out fiery red ink on the page. Of course, that's a lot of my imagination, but hey. So this combination is £22, which I think is a fantastic deal, especially if you love mythical or themed pens and inks. I think this combination would make you smile every time you use it. Our final pairing is this Waterman Mysterious Blue ink with a Jinhao dark blue pen. It's going to be a Jinhao 10 with an EF nib. Now this sample shows you lovely shading in the standard ink. It doesn't usually sheen, but it does on Tomoe River paper. The pen itself, we've already seen the Jinhao 10s. It's the retractable nib, and it's just such a lush blue. And my favorite size nib, the EF for journaling, and it doesn't show sheening when you're writing with it. The sheen only shows on Tomoe River paper when the ink has really pooled quite a bit or has been really substantial on the page. So together, this actually comes in at £19.50 because you're looking at £13 for the pen, and then a 50ml bottle of Waterman Mysterious Blue is £6.50. This combo is great for those who want something a bit traditional and professional looking, but also enjoying that aesthetic and the tactile feel of working with a fountain pen on high quality paper. It's a fitting end to our list and showing us that, classic combinations, blue pen, blue ink, can have a touch of magic and don't have to be expensive. We've gone from vibrant purple and green sheening inks to shimmering blacks and standard blue, from dragon pairings to perfectly matched avocados and more. So let me know what your favorite pen and ink combos are from this lot or in general. These combinations came in at under £50 and a lot of them were actually around the £20 mark and some below 10. So I think the key is that you can mix and match affordable pens like Jinhao's with inexpensive inks to explore a whole world of colors and writing experiences without spending a fortune, because sometimes fountain pens can feel intimidating and expensive. I hope this overview gives you some inspiration to try your own budget-friendly combinations. You don't need a £200 pen or fancy limited edition ink to enjoy this hobby. Sometimes a £5 pen with the right £3 ink sample can bring you just as much joy. So go ahead, experiment and have fun. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And to everyone who has already done that, thanks so much for your support. I'm a newbie here and really enjoying my time